Ultra Prime got as an answer?
I feel like for Ultra Prime, you could try and look for a more aggressive route, potentially. We hit on things like the LeBlanc potentially still being open in the last one. The Ahri, Lissandra, what they're highlighting now, they're just going to go for this. So, going to give Cryin something that's definitely in his wheelhouse, his third most played pick of the split right now, and gives him a lot of onus to also be another form of engage. Sets you up at level 6 to potentially just start ganking Rookie non-stop and not giving him an avenue to leave. But Xiaolongbao, incredibly excited about something after locking in that Sivir.
Yeah, but you know what? He's just very excited in general. Look at him. Oh my god, he's just going for it. He's like, yeah, boy. Yeah, boy, the team's feeling good right now. So, apart from the Lissandra, it is almost identical bans or picks coming in here. You still have the Sivir and the Yuumi in the bot side. Little bit of trivia here for you now. Taliyah has been picked and played by Rookie 5 times. It's his most played champion. He has an over 8 KDA on that champion and has yet to lose when he's been able to pick that. I honestly, when we come into playoffs into the best of 5s, if this pick is left open for V5, I'm calling straight up like shenanigans right there. You just cannot let this open. I just feel like Ultra Prime, they're just left between a rock and a hard place. They're going to try and deal with it with Lissandra, but I just feel like Rookie on Taliyah is just an inevitability at this point.
Yeah, and for Ultra Prime, since you can't do anything about that, I'm curious because they're banning out junglers. I wouldn't even hate a Sejuani ban and just kind of open up for that Gnar pick to be able to come through. And, like, sure, we've seen Rich play some of the other good matchups into it. Heck, even in spring, right, we had... Actually, even this split, I believe Rich has pulled out the aerial and has been willing to go towards some of those heavier, more aggressive counter picks. But, no, still just going to all in on those jungle bans coming through. They could opt into looking towards something like that Zhao themselves and leave Xiaolongbao searching for answers.
Yeah, you'd imagine the first pick here for Ultra Prime will be the jungle pick, leave counter for Zoom on the top side, just because you are putting a lot of pressure into that jungle position right now, so you want to try and get the better of the picks that are remaining. Still plenty to go for, of course, but we'll see what they want to go for. Lee Sin going to be on the way, so it feels like the Zhao has to be picked up here, which does mean in my head that maybe we might see a Pantheon coming out for V5. A kind of similar style of that early game skirmishing, and does have a pretty big impact when you combo up with the single target CC of something like the Taliyah.
Yeah, so the only other thing Xiaolongbao has played that isn't picked or banned is Rek'Sai. That would be the only thing that doesn't play yet. I mean, he's played the Taliyah as well, which V5 have, but you know that's going to go towards the mid lane. Pantheon's a good shout, is probably the only jungler, like meta jungler, that comes to mind. But Viego, which we've seen kind of fall out of presence a little bit. We've been seeing a lot more of these like hard CC, like frontline-esque junglers coming through. But no, V5 just going to go straight back to the Viego. You have a ton of bursts coming out with the Taliyah, so it can hopefully potentially set up very easily for the resets to come through with that ultimate. And I think smart play, just going back to the Sejuani top side once again, I think it's been the pick that Zoom has looked most comfortable on, and it also prevents him from being able to easily go towards that Gnar pick.
I mean, for V5, it's a very almost identical team composition, apart from the jungler right there. They're swapping out the Zhao for the Viego, so still able to get engaged, still able to get kind of run down. And honestly, it just feels, in essence, these are the exact same team comps. Yes, there are slight differences here and there between the junglers and the mid laner, but Ultra Prime have basically got the same thing of wanting to engage, wanting to try these team fights, look for a front to back, and try and get elk roaming. Because again, if it goes the same as game 1, where Zoom did most of your damage, it doesn't matter what team comp you pick as Ultra Prime, because you're still not going to win. You need to make sure elk is doing some DPS.
Yeah, for Ultra Prime, it's all about elk. It's all about those 5v5s later on. Zoom, Hacker, and Cryin creating space for him. For V5, I mean, the fact that they have the Viego a little bit less engaged, right? Just because Zhao having a bit more range from the W into the E, being able to get on targets. Gonna have to rely a lot on Rich for that to be able to come through, but still the same potency to look for some of these plays that we saw last game. Once they get the Weaver's Wall online, that's when it feels like V5 are really gonna start ramping up.
Yeah, it does feel like, again, once Rookie gets access to that ultimate, that's where the game kind of gets taken over. Of course, the Viego, with those resets, the Heartbreaker can just be just that, heartbreaking for the side of Ultra Prime. But they do have plenty of tools to utilize. I will say, Cryin on something like the Lissandra has much better options in terms of engage. You can go in, of course, with the Ice Claw, get yourself that Ring of Frost down, and of course, the point-and-click Frozen Tomb can just be exceptional to try and deal with, or to try and catch out people like the Taliyah or the Sivir. But it's all about how and when you're able to execute, because at the end of the day, if V5 just get themselves a decent start, this game could be over very, very quick. This game could run away from you. When Ultra Prime, they've got to be proactive. They've got to be the ones bringing the fight to them.
Yeah, they need to be bringing the fight to them. But I do got to say, for Ultra Prime in this draft, I feel like they do have a lot more options in the early game coming out from their mid-jungle. You can just look to set up on Rookie on repeat. You know, go in with your E, lock him down. Zinja able to follow through. And I love it. They're already starting off with a bit of a cheeky level 1.
Love this. No one's warded just yet here on the side of V5, but they are ready for it, sort of. They're going to get slowed down by the Glitter Lance. That's going to force a flash from Rookie. The knockup will be spell shielded from Photic, so they gain a flash, but this early on, not too significant unless we see Hacker make a visit down that mid lane in the first few levels.
So we'll be able to try to do something. And I mean, it just sets up for the plan that we just hit on, right? Just kind of looking to punish potentially Rookie in the mid lane of not having that. Like, he will have his cleanse, so maybe you could try and escape, but if he's overextended a little bit too far, does it matter if you cleanse the Ring of Frost coming out from Cryin? Because hopefully by that point, Hacker will already be on top of you and the kills will be coming through. So Ultra Prime setting themselves up to a bit of a good start. Won't have to worry about the Ignite coming through in the bot lane 2v2, but we already saw the spot lane 2v2, right? It's going to be a lot of just Photic and ppgod pushing Elk and Miaoniu under turret.
Hacker doing well to recognize the commitment on the bot side. Most likely going to see some vision coming out on top of him here. He will be spotted out by this ward, and he won't know that the ward is there because he hasn't walked over it just yet. Now he knows. Now he knows he's been caught out. So we're going to get a replay here of the bot side, as this is why, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know why you don't level up a skill before you need it, this is exactly why it is. Photic saves himself a flash because he's able to level up his E and keep himself safe.
A nice spy, Photic, to be able to not have to burn anything and not really sacrifice that 2v2 from being able to come through. But we see now with Ultra Prime's bot lane actually able to start on the wave that they're contending in that early 2v2, actually getting the push early on. So both junglers potentially going to meet up around this bot side, and Ultra Prime's bot lane might be able to move and assist their jungler first, which could set themselves up to find an early lead. The problem is we need to see Ultra Prime actually able to carry that on into the mid game, unlike they were able to do in game 1.
I'm actually curious to see as well with the AD carry stars to see a longsword there coming out for Photic, recognizing, look, I can get up to my Krakatsair far earlier than Elk can really put any damage down. Speaking of putting damage down, nice little trade here for Cryin. Proving again why we should be keeping him in the conversation of some decent mid laners within the league, and seeing if he can make that early priority work against him. And right now, not really sure where we're going to be seeing much of the action. Like you said, the early skirmishing, we talked about this a little bit because of the changes of, you know, the dragons. Of course, very hard to take those very early. So we are starting to see less and less skirmishing happening here in the early game, and it does feel like that's just going to continue on as teams just kind of keep putting down vision, because it's so important to keep on track of these junglers, especially if you want to just try and, as you say, get up to level 6s, get up to those big power spikes for both sides.
And for Ultra Prime, they're trying, right? Like, they know they have an advantage. They have Prio on both mid and bot. They have no summoner on Rookie, so they know if they got to fight, they'd potentially be able to find that kill. But Victory 5 for now, at least dodging out on it. Xiaolongbao going to the opposite side of the map. Might even find some counter jungling, or even just look for a gank onto Zoom, because Zoom is very far extended in the lane.
Yeah, you do have an Ignite as well for Rich, so this Sejuani lane prowess shall be pretty big against them, as we can see Hacker now looking to see if he can land some counter jungling of his own. So the counter jungling shall be countered, which makes it just jungling, really. As Photic and ppgod need to be a little bit careful, but it's so difficult to do anything here into the V5 bot lane. You're not only dealing with the fact that it's a Yuumi, the fact that you have a Yuumi means that there's always 2 combat summoners. There's always something else to be dealing with, as we can see now. Hacker gonna have to abandon the last few of the Krugs. That's actually a little bit more significant than you think it is. A lot of the XP in that camp is actually front-loaded into those smaller Krugs to make sure you finish them.
I do gotta say, though, just going back to that dive point, it's even I feel like you rarely see dives these days unless heavy trading is able to be forced or come out first. Diving like full HP targets this early in the game with, like, sure, the turret isn't as insane as it was when we came in the summer split, still is buffed from where it was before, and that ramping damage can still just really take you out very quickly. So I like that Ultra Prime opt into just trying to get the counter jungler themselves, but V5 might actually be able to find a gank of their own. Ultra Prime, they don't spot him.
They don't spot it just yet, and they're going to go aggressive thinking the heavy trading. You mentioned it, then Ultra Prime thought they could make something happen with it. They're going to jump onto the Lulu, who gets taken out and burned away. First blood, and Elk is not doing much better either. He will get hit by the front side of the Boomerang Blade, but that is a great start for V5. Much better here in game number 2 than it was in game number 1.
Xiaolongbao even just following a similar plan, right? We saw in game 1 him just constantly pathing down towards that bot side, enabling them to have that push. And then once Weaver's Wall came online was when V5 started diving that lane. So getting a bit of a stronger and earlier start to that same plan that they were able to deliver on game 1. For Ultra Prime, though, like, nice by Hacker to recognize the play comes through and find some counter jungling, but not in the same position to be able to capitalize on top lane like last time without that Realm Warp.
Again, just not having that extra little bit of, it's not having that extra little bit of, as I say, roaming about, not having that extra ability to move and be free with your team, and V5 just making the most out of it. Rookie's not really going to be caught out here. Yes, there is a Glacial Tomb available, but Hacker might have found Rich.
Oh, Zoom!
Oh, very nicely done there by Zoom. The Ignite not going to be used. That was honestly quite clean.
Yeah, flashing to make sure that Rich can't get away with that Q. Sets up for the gank to be able to come through. I thought Rich would probably be fine, able to throw out the ultimate and get away. Maybe still potentially, you know, could have. I don't know in a scenario there if he ult Zoom, if Hacker would then be able to try and block out on the Q of him being able to get away. But nice play coming out from Ultra Prime. V5 going to capitalize and get themselves a dragon. Early dragons. Let's go, Machine.
Let's go. Let's go. You get yourself the dragons. In fairness, it's actually very significant early on in the game, especially a Hex Dragon, which is just base stats, really, with the ability haste. So not scaling like a mountain or anything like that. So, yeah, you're not waiting for it, as we see now. Xiaolongbao. TB did come in from Zoom here. He does have himself to call the Forged God. He's going to try and use it here. Xiaolongbao getting healed up by the Yuumi. God, it's so annoying to try and deal with. All 5 members of Ultra Prime are here as they really want to get these 3 kills, but Rookie has made himself known and will protect ppgod right until the end and says, no, ppgod, I'm a firm believer in your faith and I shall keep you safe, my lord.
He keeps him safe, but Ultra Prime still find 2 kills. They do have to commit all 5 members down to the bot side as Rookie playing on a knife's edge, but gets some good damage down. But my God, like 2 plates over to Elk. He's the one that we said needs to step up and get that damage down, unlike in game 1 where Zoom was the top damage dealer on the Ornn. But consolation prize being Rich getting a bit of gold onto himself. We'll go straight into the replay here. V5 take the dragon, which with more HP on this patch takes longer to do, gives time for Ultra Prime to come down. Zoom TP's down. Cryin is time to move over. Call of the Forge God forces the flashes, but I love that Ultra Prime still just commit. Cryin flashes over the wall. He gets the kill immediately with his Q, and then able to buy time with his ultimate so he doesn't go down to turn himself.
I will say, yes, it's great that you got that on the side of Ultra Prime, but Hacker's basically lost his entire top side. You saw a lot of plates going over to Rich. I think he picked up 2 as well, so they're going to try and jump on the Cryin here. Who was that 2? Like, that was like a Hail Mary, but you completely threw the ball out of bounds. Like, I don't know where Rich was looking.
So, he was trying to predict, right? I don't know if he didn't know about the flash or what, because he saw what direction Cryin shot the Ian, so... Yeah. Does get it down. I mean, they still force Cryin back. They will be able to get this Herald, and Ultra Prime going to try and equalize by getting pushed in mid, and I think then you hover down towards spot, force Photic off the turret, get even more plating onto Elk, and try and make this a bit worthwhile.
You know what I just noticed? You know the way when we say like an ultimate from a Sejuani goes wide, it's called an X-Midi? Wasn't
that just hurts?
I know, but it is what people call it. All right, I'm just saying what I see in front of me. But wasn't X-Midi like voted like the best jungler in NA history?
He was.
And his most iconic play in terms of most people's mind is that.
I do gotta say, I've actually said.
I think X-Midi's great. I think X-Midi's a great jungler, by the way. I'm not denying that.
Well, to me, it's just hilarious, right? Because it gets mean for that ult. But think about how many times we flop ult in LPL. There was one game where
sure.
Wayward did not hit any of them. And it's like, you're just like, just another day in LPL. Next game Wayward will hit him. Like, who cares? You move on. But X-Midi.
Yeah, it's like
sorry, my dude.
If it's done in LCS, it's like, trolling. Never mind. Hey, we're going to meme on this person. It's just like LPL. It's like, you miss all the shots you don't take, man. Keep going, champ. Like, it's such an obvious, like, bias that most people have in their region.
No,
it's always very funny.
It's just smart because when you just always do crazy stuff, it just, whatever. It's another day in the office. So good job, LPL, for adopting mistakes or craziness as your own identity. But point is, Rich in this game, it's only happened once. And we like to look to the future. And so it's about the next ult that comes through. He has that ult up now, but We might actually have a lot of play towards this bot side with the level of aggression coming out from Elk and Miaoniu.
Yeah, I think that they're getting some decent chip damage into that turret, so they're getting some decent gold as well. They actually have a bit of a CS lead on the bot side as well. And actually looking holistically, as I keep saying it as well, because that seems to be my word for the day, it is about 1,000 gold lead now for Ultra Prime. So they are very much getting themselves advantages despite the proactive plays coming out from V5. And honestly, it does feel like V5 are still having a little bit of a scrappier early game. And I like this from Hacker. Hacker kind of saying, look, we're going to use this early game to the best. I got 2 kills early. That extra little bit of cost nerf, shall we say, is not going to make that big of a difference. It's now Rookie going to have to cleanse, but that damage still goes in. He loses both his summoners before this dragon spawns in 50 seconds.
I mean, nice to see Ultra Prime finally threaten this play in mid, right? Because we talked about this coming out of draft of just Lissandra's Zhao and the threat that's able to put down. We never really saw that capitalized on, despite the fact that they blew Rookie's flash at level 1, but finally able to just kind of show presence in mid lane. Rookie a little bit too far forward, has to respect the engaged potential coming out from Ultra Prime, and potentially sets Ultra Prime up to either look for a dive bot or even just have prio for this dragon.
They have prio. Zoom is taking a lot of damage here from Xiaolongbao. The Sheen proc does very nice things for the Viego. Used to be a mana item, no longer a mana item. Now it's just a item itself, actually. It doesn't actually build from anything, which I'm not quite sure how I feel about. I also don't know how I feel about the fact that Triforce doesn't build from 3 attack damage items. That's another thing I don't know how I feel about. But we'll wait and see as Rift Herald. A lot of opinions, a lot of things in my mind.
To me, it's just about color. Since Sheen is blue, the fact that it
mana.
Exactly, right? That's actually my only qualm, is just the color. Zoom might actually go down.
I was going to say he has no mana right now, and he's got nowhere to go. The flash and the wild growth. And that means Shelly gets to do her second favorite thing, which is bonk a second turret after the first. So it is a bit of a bad situation there for Ultra Prime. They will get themselves a dragon here, as Elk and Hacker are already on the position. But V5, they're not to be outdone here, and the trades are starting to come in. We're seeing a lot more cross-mapping this game. No more just sitting there and waiting for stuff to happen. Both teams looking to make plays.
Both teams making plays, but despite the fact that V5 gave up Dragon and traded for a turret, Ultra Prime still the team up in gold. I mean, they already have a turret from the bot lane. It also looked like Elk having a little bit of a CS advantage. I believe it was about 10. And heck, even now, Cryin breaking down more plates. You can see in top lane, Zoom was able to get a plate for himself as well. To where no plate in the bottom lane for V5. And I don't believe there was a plate taken for... Nope, no plate taken for Rookie in mid either. So Ultra Prime being up in gold, largely being down to those plates, and that small lead for Elk in the bot lane.
They're being up in gold down to the facts, you know, up and down. It's life. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of I'm being a bit strange right now as you try to keep us on the straight and narrow. I will bring us right back to reality, as we can see now with the Drift Herald spawning in a minute 30. We are starting to see first full items being coming out. I will say it's a better position for Elk this time around. He has got his Immortal Shield Bow alongside Photic, who does have his Kraken Slayer, so you are on a decent enough spike. I will say the Kraken Slayer does have a little bit more to offer in those big extended team fights. Of course, those Ricochet Blades will just do so much for you, but it is going to come down to execution. I feel like if Cryin, with this Everfrost now, the pure amount of single target CC he has, those cleanses are great for Rookie and Photic, but you got to cleanse one thing.
Yeah, it's going to be rough with the amount of CC coming in from Ultra Prime. I'm more surprised by Hacker. I mean, having the Kembank Chainsword already, but actually sitting on a Bomby Cinder, not seemingly is going to go towards that Gourd Drinker, which, I mean, I think we've seen it a few times this split, but considering you already have such a large front line in Zoom, I'm kind of surprised not just going to opt into, you know, with a bit more damage and sustain to come out from that item. We'll see how it works for him, as now, Sheen, we look at the timer, top right, 25 seconds until aggression.
Honestly, it did take me a little while because I was like, there's 3 timers. Which one am I looking at? I was like, wait. They're all on the top left or top right. I gotta look at this. But yeah, it's good to see aggression. Then we have Unleash teleports as well as we do hit the 40 minutes. If we look at the middle timer, and they kind of combo up those 2 timers into the game. And we'll see now with the teleports available, do these top laners want to try and split push? No, they want to try and be a part of this fight as soon as possible. Photic does have to deal with this wave in mid lane before this Rift Herald spawns. And Zoom doesn't have flash, remember. He lost it out in that last skirmish up top side, but not great vision here for V5. But with the Weavers well available to them, they could cut off a fight.
And Rookie's flash, luckily, about to come up, because that could have been a sore point that Ultra Prime could have taken advantage of. V5 are going to get prio on this first. And like we said, Rich really being their only engage. Keep your eyes on Rich if V5 want to find a fight.
Ooh, Rookie, he moved backwards. He was ready, though, with the seismic shove. You know he was. As we can see, there is the work round coming down. Ooh, nicely done. Going to force back a crescent guard from Hacker, and Hacker's in a little bit of trouble. Rich is just so trigger happy with these ultimates. At least he hit it. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, the final chapter has to be used as well. Yeah, I mean, they got the flash out of Elk because of the seismic shove, but his play is not quite over just yet, Lyric. They're still moving forward. Photic does have enough mana there to get the E off and spell shielded out. And despite this being incredibly scrappy and doesn't feel like V5 should have came out on top of it, they are coming out on top of it.
I mean, V5 come out on top, but also utilizing a bunch of ultimates to get a little bit of damage on the turret. I mean, they also did walk with Elk's flash, like you said, but I was kind of surprised at the follow-up, especially from ppgod and Photic throwing out their ults. Rich, you're throwing out his, you're kind of fishing to see. You lock someone down, you find an engage, I get it, even if he is under turret, but the other one's a little bit haphazard, but still going to default to a normal map state. Ultra Prime, since they did get those resets off first, actually will have tempo coming back onto the map and can try and reclaim some of this vision, because right now in River, especially around bot side, largely is in V5's control, and Dragon going to be the next thing we're keeping our eyes on.
Yeah, Dragon's going to be the big point of focus right now. It is an Infernal Rift, it is an Infernal Soul, and that's the big thing you got coming into this one right now, is that when you have things like the extra AP and AD coming out, so powerful, even just from a single Dragon. We're going to harp on about this until the next patch when it becomes so ingrained in our memories that it's just relevant no more. It's just part of the game. This is kind of becoming a big issue now for the side of both these teams, because it is going to be about who gets those Dragon stacks. If you're to get 1 or 2 Dragons now for Ultra Prime, or 1 or 2 Dragons for V5, that could be game-changing, because that burst from the Taliyah could be huge.
Like, think about it, right? The fact that they got 1 apiece means to set up for 3, which would be 18% bonus damage coming through. I mean, you think, we already see the Zeri now, 125, AD. You would be getting, what, about 20? 21 maybe?
Yeah,
like
20,
extra AD able to come out from that, so definitely going to be significant with the way that the Dragons panned out, because always more valuable to stack multiple rather than, like, if you get the first 2 and then you can only get 2 as compared to how they can get 3. But TP coming out from Cryin. Oh, just flashes in.
Wow, look at the single target CC, though. Rookie's going to have to flash over. The cleanse was used as well. Cryin just going Giga Chad right there and saying, all right, you got nothing left, Rookie. You're going to have to play this even more exceptionally than you normally do.
Yeah, Rookie did have to blow his summoners, but still, no one else Prime looked like they were ready to follow up, but they are now.
There's the Ornn coming out. They're going to force out more summoners here. Ultra Prime bringing the fight over to V5, but V5 are just not falling down just yet. The Weaver's Wall going to stop the retreat, but they found themselves a little tunnel. They should be able to get behind enemy lines or back into their own safety after going a little bit into no man's land. Shelly did get a bop in the mid lanes. That's going to open up a bit more of the map. You still have a TP here on Zoom. No TP on Cryin, but he needs to get a bit of a reset. No mana, no health, and the Dragon's still yet to be taken, Lyric.
I'm really interested to see what they do. Oh my god! Miaoniu,
yeah.
Just gone! Just gone!
Support. Just gone. He got caught with a seismic shove, and this is what I'm saying with Rookie, man. When Rookie's on Taliyah, he can be his own carry, his own setup, and his own team fight. He is just a monster right now, and he hasn't even reset, as Rich is going to find Elf, who's going to be forced to go over the wall. He's not quite in safety just yet, but does have a blast cone, and despite all the great heroics from Ultra Prime, it's V5 who get a kill, and V5 who get the Dragon.
And all once again coming back to Rookie. I mean, even in that initial fight, I was surprised that it just seemed like so many ultimates from both sides not able to connect, making it so people are able to get out. I'm sure we're going to go oh no, we're not going to go all the way back to Cryin's engage. Could come to the second half after the Rift Herald is dropped. Ultra Prime.
Oh, this ward's not in the brush. If that Scryer's Broom is not in the brush. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
You know,
they thought they had safety.
I just love how they don't show the fight and we only get him deleting the Lulu, but
there's only 1 kill, and that kill was the only important thing. Yeah,
ward slightly out of it, but hey, even despite going down, I mean, game's still incredibly even. We can see in terms of gold and Ultra Prime keeping up the pressure in the top side of the map. No TP on Rich, so if we do get any action towards this top side, it will be a 4v4. Zoom potentially will have a window to move over as well, considering we already see him having pushed down a bot side. But it looks like V5 won't even be able to contend with this turret pushing top.
Yeah, they're not really in position. You can see Rookie having to try and put down abilities to make sure there's nobody in the brush waiting for him to walk up. He is very aware that he is summonerless at the moment, and that Ultra Prime are probably very, very aware of that. Baron is live. Won't be taken straight off of spawn like it was last time by V5, but see now that Ultra Prime starting to get a bit of confidence, starting to get a bit, more bold with their pushes up towards this top side as they start to maybe make a mark. Because they see a weakness now with V5. They've seen it in the team fights. If they can get the engages off, it can go their way. They just need to make sure they kill somebody, which is just so much easier to say than to do.
But we can already see the difference in terms of like having the Viegos compared to the Xinjiang before, or if the Wukong was open, right? Another ability to be able to get you on the enemy target easily. So still depending a lot on Rich connecting with that ultimate and being able to follow up. Looks like it's been where V5 has really struggled. And like, sure, Up haven't really been able to connect with kills yet either, but Up have been the ones forcing out summoners from the sides of V5.
Yeah, Ultra Prime have been doing very, very well to make sure they're in the right position at the right time and getting themselves the most value out of those fights. But this is why you have the summoners. It's why the summoner spells are so valuable, why they have such exceptionally long cooldowns, because they are fight changers. They are game changers in that regard. You think about it, the difference between a kill onto Rookie and not is a cleanse, is a flash. The fact that he had a heal in the Summoner Spellbook coming out after that as well was the difference between what was right or wrong for the side of Ultra Prime. So for V5, they're still in this game. They're still looking like they're in control. Ultra Prime, though, they are starting to push the narrative that they can take these fights. They can make these better for them. They do need a couple more small moments, though, as both AD carries hit themselves with the 2 items. Zeri would love to get up that Infinity Edge as we start to move towards another big fight in 2 minutes' time.
And I actually feel a lot better for Ultra Prime this time around, because had there not been that 5k gold difference last time, we talked about the ornaments coming through, the tankiness on the side of Ultra Prime and their prowess in these front-to-backs, kind of even adding more engage with Cryin on the Lissandra. I think if the game keeps going at this pace, at least for composition, Ultra Prime should consistently be the ones deciding where the fights are happening and what fights are happening.
Who, what, where, when, and why. And how. We'll throw a H in there.
We'll say 1 minute 35 seconds for Dragon. Zoom opening up, Call of the Forge God, and Cryin either Eing or like E then flash in on top of multiple people. You lock them all down. And I'll predict no one from V5 goes down. Just like last fight.
Wow. Okay.
Just like last fight. They'll all cleanse, they'll all flash, they'll get out of there, and then Rookie will make a hero play. So I'm actually just predicting the same thing that happened before happens once again.
But with more damage because more items have been completed. It's, you know, as we have always said, I love to say this thing, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. And sadly for Ultra Prime, we talked about how, yes, it's positive they were burning summoners, they were getting off some of these, you know, flashes away from the side of E5. They didn't use that moment or that opportunity to make anything happen. And in fairness, there wasn't really much for them to go from. So there wasn't really much to drag V5 across the map without putting themselves into a terrible position around Baron. So you're not really going to have that same advantage. You are looking now at all summoners being available for this next fight. And this feels like Ultra Prime's final chance, because it feels like now we're at the point where if the Sivir gets the 3 items, if the Taliyah, the Viego start to get themselves into the reset moments, that's where this game starts to become so much harder for Ultra Prime.
It's going to be so much harder to find those moments. But I like what you're saying before about Ultra Prime not capitalizing on those summoners being down, because they're once again already back up 4v5. And I feel like that could have been a time where Zoom has kept up pressure in bot, could have rotated him over and found the ultimate to come through and at least try and capitalize. Still on objective first. V5 having no wards in River. They at least have Rich who can try and brute force his way in, but you open up yourself to take a lot of damage from Elf.
Yeah, I will say Ultra Prime have not done their homework. Look at bot, look at top. They're being pushed in favor. Actually, bot might just about be equaling out towards Ultra Prime. Hard to tell from this side, but top is definitely pushing in V5's favor. And now Hacker kind of separated away from the rest of his team. There's the Weaver's Wall, but it's only just really to get the inside track onto mid lane. So actually, I like this from the side of V5. They're saying, look, we don't care about Dragon because we can turn for Baron. They actually have some decent damage on it, and they can get some serious work done if they're left on it for too long.
Still, they're actually being spotted out by a ward from Ultra Prime that is in that brush right next to Raptors. So not threatening the Baron. They even have a ward on Baron, but going to be able to take this top lane turret. So saying, hey, Ultra Prime only going to be their second Drake. We're fine trying to trade up for gold.
Yeah, Zoom immediately was like, I need to run away from this. But the Dragon does go over to Ultra Prime, so in terms of the grand scheme of the Dragons, it's very, very even. In terms of the gold, finally V5 have got themselves a bit of a gold lead. It's not, it's only a couple hundred. Not exactly exceptional to be coming into this game, but this is very, very close. And honestly, I've got to give massive, but that's a lot of zombie wards. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's more wards there over the top. Ultra Prime wanted that Dragon a lot.
You know, this feels like a good time to you know, expand on your feelings on wards and bring it back to just your feelings overall. because I want to set you up to make people think you hate V5 by saying, you know, we said, you know, give a confidence, dominant performance in the series. How you feeling about this game so far, Sheena?
You want my genuine hot take for
Oh
V5?
my God, I don't know.
V5 will
Yes.
V5 will come third in the LPL playoffs again. I do not I do not see them beating top esports. I do not see them beating RNG. I think we will have a repeat of spring. That's my hot take. And I genuinely
I'm just surprised
believe
you're disrespecting JD Gaming.
that. Yeah, true,
That's to
true.
me, that's the hot take. The hot take isn't V5 third.
We'll hot
The
take
hot
them
take is-
later. They're playing after this. We'll do a
the
hot take
is
then.
where's JDG?
JDG, I'm not saying that JDG always choke in playoffs. I'm just saying that JDG haven't done exceptionally well in the last 2 years when it comes to playoffs. So
Spring was solid, but you're right. Actually, maybe getting a bit ahead of ourselves, considering that JDG are playing up next. JDG AL. This will be your ad for people watching out there.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun. AL.
if we had
top
a
team.
thought about this, we could have done like the LEC, like the lower third that comes up and kind of goes coming up next. You know, just like boom, boom. Oh, we should totally do that. Why did we not do that? That would be so much better. We should do that.
Because
that
we
more
like
in the random
we like to
stats.
give the verbal advertisement. Everyone loves a random stats as hacker.
Well, speaking of random stats, we're going to see some random fights coming out here. Rookie flashes away. He does not want to get caught out by the Ring of Frost. Cryin goes into his own frozen tomb, and it's going to be nice and cozy for the moment, and comes back to hell and destruction as V5 have now finally recollected themselves and brought themselves back into the fight. The final chapter is good, but it's a trade of top laners for the moment. The resets are coming in for Xiaolongbao, but look at Elk. He's kind of firing for free as Elk goes forward. Elk's trying to make this one work. 1v4, trying to make this one go for Ultra Prime, and he's getting them all. It's down to the AD carries, but Photic, he's not quite there just yet. He's still gassing out. It's the AD carries looking to make this one work. They don't have vision, and Photic should get himself away. It's a 3 for 3, and my lord, was a close lyric.
How is every fight so close? Either on both sides no one dies, or on both sides I guess 3 people die. Photic managing to get away. I guess we're going to instantly go into the replay to see how it happens. Ultra Prime, once again, they have the tools to find fights, right? But the flashes are there for V5, so they're able to kite out the initial engage. But Ultra Prime going a little bit deep opens up for Rookie to bring out the Weaver as well. Very coordinated re-engage coming out from the side of V5. But still, we have Elk just constantly putting out that DPS to make sure the Sejuani goes down on the opposing side. And then Elk just going crazy. Amazing flash to go forward. And then somehow, Photic managing to escape on a sliver of health, using his flash and cleanse himself to make sure that he can get the job done.
Oh, minute 30. We're not going to wait for the Dragon because we're going to have another full-on fight coming in right now. The Ornn has been used. Oh, Xiaolongbao with the Rue. That was cheeky there onto Zoom. Doesn't quite get the Ornn to go for the knockback, but Ultra Prime now recognize that they have a priority in mid, and not only do they have priority in mid, they're going to have priority over this Baron.
I'm just happy that they tried to use Call of the Forge God there to find a pick, because that's something Ultra Prime haven't been doing enough in my mind, is forcing out these summoners and then recapitalizing. Because that's when you want to fight. That's when top LPL teams fight, but they're going to try now.
Gonna try. Rich does have a TP ward just in the back of Red Pits. They could be able to look to try and make that one work, but he's already joined his team. He's already at the front of this front-to-back team fight. There's a little bit of a ward, or a little bit of a placement there on the left-hand side. We're seeing a bit of a flank from Cryin. Frank will be joining us later on today on the broadcast, but the Weaver's Wall going to be used to try and separate them away, so the Baron should reset. Really nice placement there from Rookie, and it kills all momentum from Ultra Prime. They got to build back this health bar, and V5 are just waiting for time.
Yeah, they just get pushed out in mid, so they can look for it now, but Tool's still not exactly there.
Oh, nice buffering there. You do get the Frozen Tomb coming out there from Cryin, but Xiaolongbao getting the Heartbreaker, and now Ultra Prime don't really have that point-and-click engage anymore, and V5 might fancy the chances, but no, they don't want to go too risky. They've got 13 seconds till the next Dragon, and they know they're going to have first push on it.
Oh, Sheen, when are we going to fight? When is something going to connect? Always some CC landing. No one close enough to be able to follow up. And V5 now in a position where they're on river first and just going to start up this Drake. With Zoom coming on the side, Zoom's Call of the Forge God is back up. So this would be an opportunity for them to force it. And heck, whichever team can get this Dragon right, that's going to be Soul Point. It's going to be 2 Infernals on the board. It's going to be quite a nice little buff for them.
Still no summoners onto the supports or AD carries on either side. You're not going to have a flasher. You're nearly going to have an exhaust here for ppgod, but already an exhaust for Rookie as he has that cleanse as well. So, Summoner Spellbook really helping out the side of V5. But you can see that Ultra Prime, they're a little bit late to this one here, but the extra health on the Dragon, like we've always mentioned, makes this a lot harder just to try and take. Zoom is off to the side here. We will see the Shurelya's Battle Song used. Try and just disengage a little bit. Dragon down to 3,000 HP. There's the call of the Forge God coming out, and the Sejuani ultimate on the other side goes completely wide. Cryin going to put himself in danger as he gets knocked up immediately. The Dragon is secured there by Ultra Prime to get himself to the soul point. The Yuumi was separated for some reason as the Viego and the support of V5 have gone down. Ultra Prime now running forward with momentum. They've got the electricity in their veins, and Elk is styling forward. Wants to try and take this 1v1, but in fairness, he's going to win it because he's able to crit as a Zeri's 1,000 gold shutdown and the triple kill, but Rookie is still here. Rookie has a Weaver's Wall, but Rookie's just going to walk away. He knows he can't do anything, and Ultra Prime are right in this game.
And once again, we're seeing another game where the difference maker is the Zeri. What a surprise. We're going to go straight into the replay because V5 initially start up this Drake, but Zoom opens up Call of the Forge God, forces the disengage, which allows them to get the Dragon. Another Sejuani ult, sadly, kind of falling a little bit flat. But when you have this Ornn level 14 ornaments starting to come through, the stats there, Rookie not able to join in the fight because he's kind of zoned off to the side, it opens up for Elk to start taking over. And then, I mean, once they get the lockdown coming out from Hacker and Zoom, it just allows for the mobility to shine through, get the damage in, and sadly, Photic gonna give his best try, but not enough in the end.
This is just becoming a bit much now for V5. It's still only a 2,000 gold lead, so Ultra Prime not a million miles away from 4 items onto the Sivir, but if Photic just can't put out the damage, you can see how limiting it is on the Sivir. Such a short range. You really want to try and put out those boomerang blades and those ricochets to just chip away at that health bar before you fully commit. Cryin, honestly, I can't give this guy any more praise because he is just doing such exceptional work at finding carries, figuring them out, and getting them locked down in place for Zeri to do the work.
I even like the priority of upgrades coming out for Zoom, like having both ornaments on their front line so you're able to absorb more damage than the opposing side, which is really just going to be rich, and then also making sure Elk has more damage able to come through. So, nice as you're making on and Call the Forge God.
Call the Forge God onto Rookie. He does get a Weaver's Wall, which stops absolutely everybody. Cryin went a little bit too far forward, and Zoom has to flash because he was on top of the unraveled earth, so not quite able to make this one work. But look at Elk just pumping out damage right now. I talked about a 4-item Sivir and a 4.5 item with an ornament, so let's call it 5. But a TP's coming on the backside of here. Ultra Prime, they're 5v4 as there's going to be Xiaolongbao getting knocked back and hit by the crit as well. Rich is there, no ultimate just yet, but has got an ignite. He's trying to corral them, herd them like a dog with sheep. As there we go, they're going to go for the Heartbreaker. As you can see, Ultra Prime trying to keep Zeri alive. The health bars are low, but this Zeri is huge, and now Rookie finds them on the backside. It's Elk versus the world, and Elk shall be shot down, and V5 should be able to end the game.
Oh, and B5 actually get the game win off of this. That is absolutely ridiculous. Skirting around one fight perfectly, pinging hard, trying to get the end. And I think you're right, Ashin. Maybe they get it. Cryan's up. 30 seconds left on the board on most members.
I mean, he's got a Zhonya's, he's got an Everfrost, he's got a hell of a lot of CC. It's Cryin, the star player of Ultra Prime, looking to try and keep them in this series. It's a dead even gold lead as he goes in. He gets himself a Zhonya's as well alongside the Frozen Tomb, so should be able to clear out this wave. And that's all you really need there as Cryin flashes away. He's doing so much right now. Xiaolongbao, though, will not go down. He does lose his life, but he did his job, Lyric, and that's all that matters.
Great to keep the game going. Death timers weren't long enough to where it wouldn't be a dicey situation for V5. But I gotta say, here, really nice by Rookie. Throws down the Weaver's Wall and it funnels them all into this small corridor, which works perfectly for the AoE coming out from Taliyah and Yuumi to get full value out of their kits, which is really why V5 are able to take this. I'm surprised, though, they found so much value in running down Ultra Prime, because despite the low health bars, I mean, Elk is still going at 100%. We could see now when he landed that W into Xiaolongbao how much it did, but still, V5 aren't committing enough with other members to where they're at too much of a disadvantage, and then once Rookie joins in, it's enough damage between him Xiaolong, Bao, and Photic to finish them off. Also, kudos to Photic, because I believe he was able to dodge out on every Zeri W at the end of that.
I mean, you saw that the game plan from Ultraprime around that back of the Dragon Pit was that keep Elk as healthy as you physically can. That was the entire game plan coming out, but we're going to have to go straight back into this one right now. It is dead even in turn to goal, but this is soul point. This is significant now for both of these sides, and you can see V5, they know if they can just delay this one a little bit longer, they can just get super minions going on the top side. There's a Weaver's Wall to try and stop them, but I feel like that was a little bit trigger happy from Rookie, not quite seeing Ultraprime fully commit.
I feel like the problem right now for V5 is just the more stats coming out for Up. I mean, even Elk being full build compared to the opposing side.
Ooh, Rookie flashes very nicely done there. We'll have the ultimate used by both top laners, so they don't have that available, but look how quick those cooldowns are coming out. You have actually got the Glacial Prison coming out very, very shortly here for Rich. He's going to have it in about 30 seconds.
Look at Up's base machine. It's already being contested with supers.
Here we go. We're going to see them look for this one here. That's going to be the Infernal Soul. Maybe secured as they jump in. They're going to try and take it back. No! Stolen! Xiaolong Bao gets it, and they're all funneled into the pit. He may lose his life, but he gained the dragon. It keeps V5 ticking. And like you said, their base is in tatters. You can need to see Rookie right now trying to stop some backs right now. It's actually going to force a TP from Cryin because he knows if he doesn't get back, he's just going to lose the game.
Yeah, like that turret already almost down, and this might open for V5 to be able to find these picks because now they have the numbers to match Ultraprime.
The flick back. Zoom is still very tanky though. He's still an Ornn. And V5, they get the adrenaline, but they calm themselves down. Deep breaths coming in. As Ultraprime, they surviving. Would you believe who saved the game again but Cryin?
The fact that here we are, V5 Ultraprime, 36-minute game, 11 to 12 kills, 3 dragons apiece, I think is absolutely crazy. Nice by Ultraprime to be able to put up this much of a fight. And now it just feels like we're going to come down to one team fight, right? One team fight to kind of decide it all, probably that last dragon. But we'll go here. Ultraprime feeling a lot of pressure because of those minions, but Xiaolong Bao starting it off, closes the distance with his ultimate, and able to get off the smite and win that battle out. Does go down for his troubles. But then with that pressure of the minions, I mean, Up having to commit that TP to stop the backs and kind of allowing V5 to try to push and try to fish for a pick.
Here we go. Baron is live. The inhibitor is still dead on top side, but you only have about 2 more waves of supers. The longer you stay away there, it's actually the best inhibitor for the side of Ultraprime to have down because it does mean they can still maintain. Whoever goes up for it, be a Cryin right now, can still keep themselves relatively close. Rich gonna have to Arctic Assault over the wall. Doesn't actually have it off cooldown just yet, so was holding that one fairly nicely. There's the Weaver's Wall. Gonna knock Xiaolong Bao away from this one. This is the inside track. This is great from the side of V5. They're just out macroing right now and saying, look, with the Taliyah, we just have more options available to us.
And, right, having the Taliyah with the Weaver's Wall, having the supers pushing in top, they can try and just use those small windows where Ultraprime have to split up and double down on them with that ultimate to try and find those, like, small tempo leads to get damage on turrets or to find and engage onto a member first. But Ultraprime, I think, making the right play, staying as this 5-man formation. They are going to have to send someone back up top to deal with those minions, though. And as more minions build, it's going to make it harder for Cryin to come join this fight because Cryin doesn't have his TP up.
Rich did pop his, okay, Elk loses QSS, still has a cleanse, so plenty of CC burning there. Rich loses half his health bar, and you can see even though Rich is technically a super tank on this Sejuani, he doesn't last very long against the Zeri. The Zeri gets about 3 or 4 auto attacks down, and he's going to be about half HP alongside everyone else, so we'll see them now zoom, seeing if he can maybe just get some vision control right now, and with the Baron not taken just yet. They will have full vision though on the side of V5 as everyone did take a bit of a reset. So Ultraprime, they're going to take this as an opportunity, Lyric, and I think V5 got themselves with their hand caught in the cookie jar.
It's the best time too because Cryine's flash just coming back up can try and lock down a key member like Rookie.
Oh, that's going to separate the fight. They know it's a 3v5, and Cryan's been caught out. He got flicked back. The Baron will be secured, though, by Ultraprime. Can they take the fight after this one here as Elk does get the cleanse off, and he gets himself over the wall. Nobody from V5 has died just yet. I think Ultraprime, you're trading 1 for Baron. You take that.
And for Ultraprime, I mean, Elk just having too much mobility to be able to lock him down at this point in time for V5. V5, though, can try to get this push in mid, get another turret down. But Elk being full build, we've seen he's hitting like a truck at this point. So V5 gonna have to be careful with these full health bars.
Here we go, the W. quite landing, and it's always going to be about these skill shots. The two things you need to be watching out for is the W from Zeri and the seismic shove coming out from Rookie. They are the key abilities in these team fights. One small move, one mistake is all it's going to take for either of these sides, and whew, it's getting close. I did not expect this game to be as close as it was, but my lord, Lyric, it's turning into a little bit of a banger.
It is, and I mean, we can see now, both AD carries full build, 2 stopwatches on the side of V5 as well. Xiaolongbao actually going towards the Anathema's chains to try and reduce some of the tenacity on Elk.
No
so
boots
they
on
can
Elk.
find a way to lock him down. You're right, actually, just been 6 full items so far, wanting to maximize his goal to get as many stats as possible.
All right, no inhibitors down for Ultra Prime, despite them losing 2 inhibitor turrets. Xiaolongbao
Both sides of Sheen. No boots
Yeah.
for Photic either. Both completely maxed out.
Yeah, both maxed out. Both have themselves a QSS and Mercurial Scimitar. We'll say Rookie is a little bit ahead of the curve. You don't have the Rabadon's Death Cap here. So 1 Q from Elk just brought a load of health out of Xiaolongbao, and he's not exactly like a squishy target. He's got pretty much full AP or full health and armor right now, so we're going to see them just kind of pushing forward. There's the Weaver's Wall. It's going to separate Cryin from the team as we're going to try and maybe look for a fight, but they don't really have vision to go for this one here. The final chapter onto Hacker, who gets flicked back and put into the team. There's going to be the Ornn Horn to try and maybe separate this fight. It's scrappy, Lyric, as we can see the minions in bot lane actually finally take themselves a turret. Now you have the inside track here as V5, and you're just going to try and push those minions in. They won't be able to end the game, but the dragon's already been started. Xiaolongbao is in the pit. He's not quite there. Cryin gets himself on the backside, but nobody's gone down just yet. The flick back is good. Zoom is going to be the front line to try and deal with this. He's not quite gone down just yet. Xiaolongbao is the first casualty, as we can see Elk now running forward. Elk is feeling the electricity of this game as Photic keeps his ppgod alive. They are going to try and turn this one back, though. They don't know exactly where he is. Elk is looking for him. He needs to be very careful, though. This is a 6-item Sivir. They're all starting to back away. The dragon was taken by the side of Ultra Prime. That's going to be sold, but you can see now Elk is trying to be with Hacker. They're going to try and push in top of this, so the TP's coming in. They want him dead. They don't want him to be able to survive. Rich is now here as well to try and get his president out of danger. He's not in a good spot right now as ppgod tries to do his best, but V5, I think they might have been taken down. I think we're going to 3 games, Lyric.
Yeah, Cryin making the hero play, going in, finding the engage, was able to set up enough damage for Ultra Prime to be able to follow up and take the rest of the fight. And Zoom is so tanky. Ultra Prime don't care. So Rich actually going to try and stall the next wave.
I love this because you're going to have Rookie up in 4 seconds, so maybe he doesn't even want to go for it right now. He's thinking about it.
Oh no,
they haven't got the wave.
Recall.
He's going for the recall because they haven't got the wave right now, and they know they have Rookie, so he doesn't need to risk it. He doesn't need to put himself in danger because he knows if he dies anyway, there's not really a lot he can do. So Elk's going to try and maybe look for him. A 2-man knockup, though, and this Zeri's getting revved up. This Zeri's doing damage, but so is Rookie. They've got the minions coming in, and now you got to try and defend. It's going to be Rookie and Xiaolongbao, the mid-jungle combination. Elk has the Immortal Shield Bow as we got finally the Yuumi coming in. This is not over just yet, Lyric, as we got the final chapter not quite landing onto Elk. The Weaver's Wall is going to stop the Lulu from joining this fight for a couple more seconds. Elk is so incredibly low, but they just can't kill him.
No, this would be the time V5 need to capitalize if they want to be able to take the game. Sadly, not having the damage to do it. And I mean, they can't really put themselves in harm's way of like Xiaolongbao just committing by himself, because still Elk and Cryin would be able to deal enough damage to just take him down. Now with the resets coming off, I'm wondering if Cryin can afford that Rabadon's and then be at a bit of a stronger a point for Ultra Prime than they've already been. On top of the fact that they already still have that soul and the extra damage coming through with that 18% from the 3 individual Infernal Drakes.
Oh my lord, V5 being tested right now. Are you good enough to take down a Zeri? Are you good enough to try and make sure that this Taliyah pick keeps its 100% win rate? Remember, Rookie has not lost this split on Taliyah. He has a 100% win rate out of 5 games and is usually banned against V5. And this is why we have question marks about V5 going into the playoffs. It's like, yes, they are an exceptional team, but it's these kind of games that call into question how good are they really when you're looking at the likes of Top Esports being so dominant against any and all teams. Oh no, Xiaolongbao, you're probably gonna have to lose your Heartbreaker. Nope, never mind. No one else was ready to capitalize, but V5 going to game 3 here feels like you should be able to win. You 2 inhibitors. They have 2 turrets left on the side of Ultra Prime. That's it. That's what they have. And honestly, now it's nearly only 3 now on V5.
And I mean, sadly for V5, it's been all these fights around Drake where we hit on it earlier. I mean, we even hit on it in game 1, right? When you're bringing the Zeri, when you're bringing things like the Ornn, it just feels like if we go this far, Ultra Prime have a little bit more. On top of the fact that they just have so much more, I'd say, like, easy lockdown. You don't have to commit to open Call of the Forge God. Cryin has guaranteed lockdown. Same for Hacker. And now, like you're saying, a little bit of a precarious position.
Held it not for 2.5, but Baron in 2 minutes, or sorry, Baron in 5 seconds. And you can see Rookie actually just bypassing the fight. He didn't want to be part of this, saying give up the Baron. We can deal with it as long as we get the inhibitor. But Xiaolongbao is thinking about it, and Xiaolongbao has vision. So now he's going to look for a 50-50. They haven't dealt with this one. It's all over the place, and oh, he doesn't quite get it. He gets over the wall, and he goes ult back out to safety. The inhibitor was taken, but Rookie sacrificed his life for it, and now Xiaolongbao thinking about going towards this mid lane, but Ultra Prime, they need to make a decision. Honestly, I think they should just go top. Yeah, exactly. Do this. Go top and try and end the game.
Yeah, they already have a wave available. They have Cryin answering in mid. Cryin's TP looks like it's just about to be up in 5 to 10 seconds, so we'll be able to join a fight. And no one on the side of V5 can do anything about it. Honestly, Ultra Prime potentially could just end here with how long the death timer is on a Rookie.
You're such a short-range AD carry as well. Don't forget the Sivir. Yes, exceptionally good wave clear, but only if she's able to walk up to the wave. And now with a TP coming in from Cryin, he's dealt with the mid-wave. He knows they can go for this one right now as they finally put their eyes on the final Nexus turret. Cryin, Hacker tries to jump in with Cryin as they try and take down the Sejuani. It is killed. Exhaust comes down and Cryin goes golden. It's not going to matter as we go to a game 3.
You always know when it looks like a 2-0 on paper that there is a high chance, honestly I'd say a higher chance, that it ends up not being a 2-0 and going all the way to 3 games. This is one of those series. Ultra Prime bring it all the way with the team fighting, right? They're able to be stable in the early game. They go into mid-game on even footing, and that's when we start to see the value of their composition. We start to see the value of things like the Call of the Forge God and the fact that Cryin's on the Lissandra, and they just have so many ways of threatening V5. I feel like they were a little trigger shy in the mid-game, or maybe they could have even won a little bit harder. Like V5 did have some nice like hero plays. We obviously saw Rookie, I remember having one around the Dragon Pit, able to find the knockups to be able to guarantee some of these kills coming through, but still not enough in the end to contend with how much CC, how much damage, but something got late that the Zeri brought on the table. And I feel like almost every time now that, like, obviously game 1 the Zeri lost, right? But just so many performances these days where Zeri, the amount of damage he does in the late game, just completely taking over.
I mean, it does feel like no matter how much they nerf her, she still needs more nerfs. It just feels unfair at these points.
I guess honestly, she also did have 3 Infernal Drakes this time around as well, so maybe that. But I mean, to be fair, I guess the Sivir had 2 Infernal Drakes, so
I mean, I mean, like in terms of V5's positioning, yes, you lost Infernal Soul, but you did have as good as a deficit as you possibly could have. You got 3 dragons for yourself, so not exactly the worst of situations to be in. But yeah, honestly, for V5, this is a bit of a common occurrence right now. We were talking about, like, they only lost 1 game at the start of the split. It was to RNG. They were 2-0ing pretty much everybody. And then since Weibo, it's looked very rocky. They went 2-1 against Weibo, which they lost. They then went 2-1 against OMG. They now have to go 2-1 against Ultra Prime. These are not awe-inspiring moments here for the side of V5. And for Ultra Prime, honestly, it's exactly what we expected from these guys, to be able to go to toe-to-toe. I think this was honestly the best game we've seen from them all split. And finally, Elk, my lord, my son. That is, I'm 99% sure he did more damage than everyone else on his team combined. Like, I'm willing to put that out there.
I am just happy that after game 1 of if you didn't see the game one damage graph, it was abysmal. It was horrible. Zoom on Ornn did the most damage on his team. That should not happen. Oh, this time around, able to get into those fights, playing a lot better.
What? I knew it was more, but like it's still upsetting. Like, he did literally over half of the damage of his team. And finally, Zoom does 10%. That's better.
And look at that. Look at that as well. 90% kill participation on top of that. Like, really was just able to skirt around and not get long. I mean, and we talked about it, right? That's like, hey, okay, you have Sejuani ultimate, you have like Yuumi R, you have the W coming out from the Viego, but I mean, Sejuani ultimate skill shot, like you could miss that, and we saw him missing many times. Viego W, it feels hard to get close enough to his area to land that when she has such a good front line, and you're kind of just left with hoping you can lock him down with Yuumi's ultimate. So I definitely feel like coming out for team fights, that Ultra Prime's comp just had more tools to be able to skirt around fights or lock people down.
Yeah, we got to literally ultra late game where ease of composition, ease of execution became far more relevant. We are, though, sending it to a break. When we return, we'll have our third and final game of series number 1, and pick bans are happening right around the corner.